Hello guys, welcome back to this episode of Kusema Africa on White Coat Center. My name is Bayo and this is...
Hi guys, I am Rohula Bilankulu.
Wow. Yeah, I hope you caught that. This is Rohula and I'm Nigerian, she's South African, and for many of you who saw the previous video that we did about what Nigerians think of South Africans, this is a follow-up to that video where we now went to ask South Africans what they thought or what they think about Nigerians. And by the way, this are uncuffed and like people who we asked these questions, they didn't know what question was coming, and we just asked them spontaneously and they were supposed to give us an honest answer. So let's see the first one.
Coming from the south of Johannesburg, one thing I always associate Nigerians with is havoc, especially in the south of Johannesburg, but also associate them with a lot of entrepreneur skills, you know, good fighters. I mean, considering my understanding of Nigeria and how overpopulated it is, one has to have a very loud voice in order to be heard, so they also apply the same strategy even when they come to South Africa. But in the most unfortunate circumstances in the south of Johannesburg, they wreak a lot of havoc, unfortunately.
Okay, this was a bad one to start with, it seems.
Shouldn't have started with this one.
Well, I wouldn't know. But okay, so what do you think? Do you think it's accurate?
I don't think havoc would be like totally accurate. Okay. From my standing, I would think loud.
Okay.
From my opinion, I find that a lot of Nigerians are loud.
In terms of when they communicate? In
terms of when they communicate. And I'm glad that he brought up the fact that they have strong entrepreneurship skills.
Right. Yeah.
I think if we are to put together entrepreneur and havoc, it would perhaps be a matter of, first of all, I'm in a foreign country. Mm-hmm. I need to fight to keep my business going. Right. So perhaps that's where the havoc comes in.
I think the havoc he's referring to is actually more like the general perception of how Nigerians in South Africa are deemed to be the ones involved in drugs and crime and things like that.
Perhaps it does relate to that, but
do you think that that's a fair categorization?
Perhaps in south of Johannesburg, like he said, they're probably involved in a lot of havoc and all of that, but you do have people who are not.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's, like you said, the major issue here is that whatever you see is what you believe to be the predominant narrative. If every time Nigerians appear on South African TV, the only thing you hear about is how a Nigerian was arrested for drugs. Of course, that would keep being the narrative you keep peddling. However, I think it's an unfair categorization to have a brush to sweep everybody in the same box and say Nigerians. That's what they're about. I'm Nigerian and I'm not involved in any shady deals. So
we hope.
Oh please, like really.
But you also do have Nigerians who are involved in like good business.
Of course, yeah.
You have people who are doing our hair. Like the salon that I go to, it's being run by a Nigerian woman, and she's doing a fair business.
All right, let's go to the next one, and hopefully that one will be better.
The first thing that I say comes to mind is like opportunities, oil. Oil is the first thing that comes to mind, and opportunities, and a lot of potential for like expansion in business and the likes. So that's the main first thing. But then also the music. That's another thing. Nigerian music is very big in South Africa, and it's been like that for a while, since the days of like Mode 9 and Nero C and Ikechiku, you know. And then like right now with the youngsters like Wizkid and Davido and MI and Ice Prince. So we like a lot of Nigerian music and the culture. We like that quite a lot, and I think generally from what I've seen, regardless of what the media tends to say, South Africans and Nigerians do get along quite well.
All right, looks like this guy should be Minister of Foreign Affairs for South Africa. Like he has this beautiful idea of how Nigeria and South Africa should work together, and I think I love that. So digging in quickly, he talked about the oil. Definitely, that's a big thing in Nigeria. So if people think of Nigeria and they think of oil, it's okay because oil is a major source of income for Nigeria. Then he talked about music. He seems to know his music artists, you know.
With music, I absolutely agree. I'm that girl who's into Nigerian music. I know at some point I sent Ricardo Banks a message on Facebook just like, I like him. And he actually responded. And I felt so cool.
Oh, shout out to Ricardo Banks.
So with music, it's very accurate. I feel like the South African industry is way, way behind than the music industry in Nigeria. I'm also thinking literature.
Yeah.
Your Nigerian literature is booming.
It's huge, yeah.
It's so huge because I am reading African literature right now. I have people like Ijeoma Umobenu, I hope I'm saying that right. And she writes excellent poetry. You also have people like Chimamanda, who's Americana blue and much. So there's a lot of people in Nigeria who are writing, and I feel like if we were to compare with other parts of Africa, I don't think that we have as much authors that are writing stuff that is interesting, more than people from Nigeria.
Right.
Starting from people like Chinua Achebe right until now, I feel like with literature, Nigerians are holding it down.
This is a group of people.
Like, what is the perception?
I'll say drugs, right?
Yeah.
I'll say drugs.
So you say drugs, okay? Anything else, lady?
No one.
One dance. So music.
Yeah, music.
Okay.
Immigration.
What about immigration?
We have a lot of Nigerians in our country, a lot of Nigerian immigrants in our country.
What do you think about country Nigeria itself?
The country itself, I don't really have a specific opinion of it. I just know it's an African nation, and that's about it.
Well, Nigeria is the most developed country in Africa, more or less. Has the highest economy. And I know they're building this new city called the Atlantic City on the shore of Lagos.
Okay, so you can...
All right. Anybody else wants to add anything? You look like Rihanna, by the way. Anybody told you that?
Eh?
Anybody told you you look like Rihanna?
No, don't lie.
Doesn't she look like Rihanna though?
It's in your eyes.
Are you real? Oh, okay. But yeah, so drugs was the first thing they talked about.
Yeah.
I think we already tackled
We
that.
already
But do you want to say
tackled
anything
that,
else about that?
I feel like it's an issue. I would think perhaps when I was growing up, or when I left for varsity, that's one of the things that came up from my parents. But if you're gonna date a guy from another country,
No, you're not from Nigeria.
should not be Nigerian because he's gonna, you know what the parents said.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say which one. They said he's gonna open you up and put the drugs in you and stitch you and ship you away.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so that's the perception with a lot of so.
Well, that's really unfortunate though, because I really think I
Because
think
you-
the narrative needs to start to
Yeah,
change. You know.
because you also have South Africans who are involved in the drug business. So it's not like South Africa was now clean and the Nigerians came and then, oh my God, here are drugs. So I just feel like something happened in a certain year, and then now people just can't get over it.
And then there was a mention about One Dance, again, that you didn't know about One Dance,
Music.
but it's relating to music. It's a song by Wizkid, so it just confirms what we had talked about earlier on. So we'll go over that. And there was a top part where one of the ladies talked about immigration. That's what comes to her mind. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to have immigrants. I think immigrants always contribute majorly to building every economy, you know, even in the most basic of ways. Even if an immigrant never sets up a business or never sets up an enterprise, the fact that they pay for services and goods already is an indirect way of contributing to the economy, because you have VAT, you know,
Yeah.
value added tax, which you have on many goods that you buy from the stores. So there is no way you would not also think about the number of immigrants and how they may contribute some diversity to your country. I think it should be seen as a beautiful thing. Besides, South Africa prides itself on being a rainbow nation. So welcome everybody, you know. Let's
But look
welcome
at us
everyone.
now. But also, you need to think of the person in the ground, the person who won't even think about that, someone who doesn't even know about how the economy runs. So then you're looking at a person who's very poor, who's they don't have even a job, and you have a Nigerian coming who has the skills to set up a business, and they do that. I'm sure this is where xenophobia comes in. But I know the thinking from that point is that, so now this person has skills and they are now doing what I cannot do. So from the people in the ground, I don't think they even think about the fact that this person is contributing, he's paying VAT, he's paying other taxes.
And that's why it's important to have this conversation.
Yeah.
We need to get over this thing that we feel foreigners come in and then they take away our opportunities. Our governments need to be held accountable for providing opportunities. And then foreigners, if they come in, especially if they come in legally and they set up a business, they are just trying to eke out a living just like you are. So
Also, I'm not giving this example as a way to promote xenophobia. I feel like xenophobia cannot be justified. I mean, the fact that someone has skills and you don't have them, that should not even trigger you into attacking them. I'm just saying that it goes back to the thing of, let us educate our people
Right.
in the ground,
Enlighten
because
people.
it's only us, people who are in university, who would understand, oh, these people are paying tax, these people are contributing to the economy, but someone at the ground does not understand that. So I think that's also one of the narratives that we should actually change that. The fact that we have so many Nigerians doesn't mean that, first of all, they are all illegally here.
Right.
Second of all, they are not here to take your jobs. They are here, they observe, they see an opportunity, and they go for it.
Right.
The very same way that if someone from like the United States would have come, observed, see that opportunity, they would have taken it.
Right. And just to also emphasize that there are a number of Nigerian, South African businesses that are in Nigeria that are thriving. You know, you have your Standard Bank, you have your MTN, you have your MultiChoice.
We don't think about that.
You have all of that also in Nigeria. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next point that was made was the part about the Eco Atlantic, the building, the city being built on the sea. So you didn't know about that?
I don't know about that.
But it's a project called the Eco Atlantic, and I'm actually impressed that he even knows about it. So it's about, you know, Nigeria building. It's maybe your version of Dubai in Africa.
Okay.
So Nigeria is building a city on the sea. From the ground up, you know, they've sand filled the ocean, and then they're building a city.
So what do you mean in the sea, like inside
They've sand filled, so they filled up the
some
ocean,
part of the
part
ocean,
of it, and then they're building a city on it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's quite progressive and very advanced. And then we have this.
Nigeria and Nigerians.
Flags. What else? Okay. There are also good people. Like I've had a Nigerian bad roommate, and she was a very nice person. Even more than the South Africans are. So the drugs part is just the things we hear. Yeah, but then when we get to know the person, yeah, you see that these people are just like us. They are hustlers. Like they work hard. Yeah.
So again, the drugs comes up.
Yeah.
The scams, and then she said something interesting about how that even though these are issues we think about and we hear about, that hasn't been a personal experience of hers. This is not to like defend. This video is not about defending Nigeria or anything. It's just about us taking a step back and saying the things you know about this country or the people from this country, are they accurate?
Well, I think it also goes back to the fact that let's try and get to know people, and Nigerians themselves, they should be willing for us to get to know them, because if Nigerians are not open to us getting to know them, then we're still gonna have the same narrative. If you are like a business owner and what we know about you is that you're always angry and you're from Nigeria, we're not gonna know the side of your people. But if you are in a public space and you're a nice person, you try to bring into light nice things about you, nice things about your fellow Nigerians in South Africa, I think that will absolutely help. So it's not a one-way street. It's I'm willing to listen to you, but are you willing to share with me?
Yeah, and then the final one.
And I've also heard in some of my classes that their economy is like better than ours.
Okay.
But there's also like a lot of Nigerian people in South Africa that would like do bad stuff. Yeah. That I've heard, but it's not a generalization. And that there are also people that would do human trafficking. Nigerians. So yes, that would be my take on it. Not generalizing anything,
of course.
but obviously that they are good people and then there are also bad people.
Well, I feel exhausted trying to talk about the same issue of Nigerians being perceived as bad people. I honestly am just tired. I don't know. We're not bad people. Nigerians are not bad people. And for every South African out there, I just want to encourage you to look at it from the perspective of the fact that if every time, ask yourself, have you indeed come across a Nigerian personally and the experience you've had with them has been bad? Or has your opinion been formed based on what you've seen reported on SABC or on any other form of media channel? Because then if that's what is driving this narrative and everybody keeps passing it on the baton and saying Nigerians are bad people, of course that's what will continue to be the narrative, the predominant narrative.
I also think I don't think Nigerian media is doing any justice apart from the music videos, because the movies that we watch is either someone is trying to poison someone, trying to poison a poor orphan because they want their husband to themselves, or someone is trying to do witchcraft stuff on someone. So I don't think that your media is portraying you guys as good people. I know that that's far removed from the drugs and everything, but first of all, we're thinking you guys are bad people because you are doing drugs and all of that. On top of that, we have your movies saying, oh, there is witchcraft, oh, they are trying to poison each other, or the girls are just mean. If there's no witchcraft or poison, you just get girls that are very mean to each other, which I get is a universal thing where girls are just generally mean to each other. But theirs is on another level. Because there's a large infiltration of Nigerian movies into many African countries, and that perception is... So I've had times when people have actually asked me some of this question that in Nigeria, is there a lot of witchcraft for real? And I said, no, we also have an issue with some of these Nollywood movies that portray Nigeria as consistently being about witchcraft and all that. Everything. So truly, guys, Nigeria is way much more than witchcraft. That's gonna take a lot for us to believe. You have new movies that have come out, and I would recommend that you stick more to the more recent movies and those that have been in the box office and stuff like that. Many that definitely tackle societal issues, but are more a real reflection of what Nigerian society is all about. And then she talked about the economy. And about the economy, of course, it's true. Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. Nigeria has the richest man in Africa, and many other things like that. So South Africans should not be jealous about this. Just be proud that an African country is progressing. But I also struggle with this whole economy thing, that Nigeria has the biggest economy. But it also looks like, maybe I'm being ignorant in this, that there's also a lot of poverty that goes on. So I'm struggling to find how you guys the biggest in Africa, and then you still have a lot of people that are suffering from the documentaries that we watch. I'd rely more on documentaries than movies. Because South Africa also has people that are poor, but also I don't think it's at the same extent as Nigerians. So of course you need analysis and facts for that. However, if I was just to break it down, America has one of the biggest economy in the world as well, but they have poor people. True. Although I have been to the States before, and I can tell you that there are neighborhoods that are dingy. There are people who are poor and suffering. You have beggars on some of the streets as well, but you don't see that consistently being portrayed on their TV. So you would think it's also a media issue as well. It would be a media issue because there's no country that doesn't have this side to them. Even the Dubais of this world, there's no equality around the world just as yet. Now it varies, of course. You may say that somebody who is deemed as poor in a country in Europe might still have some of the basic amenities to life. There's social security, for instance, and they might be able to get a meal at least a day from the government and other things like that. But every country suffers from this issue of, there are still poor people who need to be uplifted by the government and by other members of society. So Nigeria may be the richest country. There's a lot more that needs to be done in terms of the distribution of the resources to uplift everybody and make sure there are no people suffering. But it doesn't mean that I think there's a lot of other intricacies that come to play. Issues such as corruption and bad leadership, bad governance, and insensitivity of people. That would of course result in you still having poor people in a country that is very wealthy and rich, not just in terms of the GDP, but in terms of even human and natural resources. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Is there anything else you want to talk about? So I think what I've taken away from these videos is just the fact that we need to give each other a chance. We need to, as South Africans, be able to listen to Nigerians, and Nigerians have to be willing to tell us their stories so that we can know. So this is how coming from Nigeria feels like. This is how it feels like being a Nigerian in South Africa. This is how I got to be where I am today. So I just feel like the sharing of stories, they're giving each other of opportunities to talk and to engage, and just the realization that in the end we all Africans. Very true. So thank you all for being a part of this episode. We really do encourage that you interact with us on this issue. Do check out the previous video where we talked about what Nigerians think of South Africans. You'll find that to be also very fascinating. Until next time, when we'll be back here with another video on the White Coast Center platform on Kusema Africa. Bye guys. Bye guys. Cheers. All right.